this is the last video on the learning target of using law of sines and cosines to solve non-right triangles. This triangle appears to be acute. And then on top of that, we know only the three side lengths. But from previous lessons in geometry, we understand if we have a side length of 18, 27, and 30, we have side congruency, which means there's only one angle measurement that a triangle with these side lengths can have for angle A, B, and C, the three angles that are there. I'm going to solve for angle A first, hide myself so we can see the work. So A degrees, whatever it is, we don't know it yet, is opposite a side length of 30. So if I set up the law of cosines, the little a is going to be 30. I'm going to square it. I'll get 900. The B and C, the exact order which you label them, doesn't necessarily matter too much because of commutative property of addition, but you need to do 27 squared and 18 squared to get the 1053. And then again, the order of B and C doesn't matter tremendously, at least for this problem, but because the commutative property of multiplying, but you need to do -2 times 27 times 18. That's where the minus 972 comes up. And then you still have cosine of an angle you don't know, which happens to be A. From there, it's really kind of two-step equation real quick. You're going to do 900 minus 1053. 900 subtract 1053 gets us -153. And then we're going to divide by 972. And I'm going to split screen this so you can see the calculator keystrokes. That would get me through this problem. So again, the 27 squared plus 18 squared, grab a calculator. We know how to do that. We ultimately are 900 minus the 1053. We get -153. We want to divide that by 972, and I click negative. That cancels out. That gets us the 0.157. So go back, make the screen bigger for a second. That is opposite cosine A, so I need to cancel out cosine. I need to do the opposite of cosine. So cosine -1 on most calculators, for whatever reason on our Chromebook calculators, again, we want to be in degree mode this entire chapter. Radian bad, degree good. We'll hit A cosine, and we get 80.94, and that's the degree measurement. Because again, we're in degree mode on our calculators. We're finding a missing angle, which happens to be A, and A is opposite 30. It should be the biggest angle in that triangle, and it's the closest to looking like a 90-degree angle, so 80.94 makes a lot of sense here. From there, we can use the law of sines at that point. Now, I could set up law of cosines again, but law of sines is faster. All I have to do is cross multiply, divide, and I stumble into my answer a little bit faster. So 80.94 and 30 are opposite each other. I'm going to, in each of the calculations coming up, I'm going to have sine of 30 of the angle A divided by the side length opposite 30. Angle B is opposite 27, so that's why the little b is going to be substituted with 27 in its place. At that point, it's a sine of 80.94. So again, I'll go to my calculator for this part because I think that's helpful. I'm going to hit sine. We get 0.98753, and we want to cross multiply that. And there's a couple other ways you can do your keystrokes, but this is what I advise. We need to cross multiply that with the 27. And that gets us 26.6634. And then we want to divide that 30. And now I've got 0.888. If we look over here, that rounds to 0.889. And then the last part, I need to cancel out sine because that is opposite sine of b degrees. So once again, the inverse of sine, I don't want to click sine, I want to click the opposite of sine. You get 62.72 degrees. And that's going to show up here in a second. So the last part, 62.72 degrees. And then I got the 36.34 degrees. If I do 180 minus that 62.72, and I get the final three angles there real quick, double check, make sure they add up to 180 degrees. They do. Make sure the biggest angle is opposite the biggest side. Make sure the smallest angle is opposite the smallest side, and then the medium angle and medium side as well. Hope that helps. This is the last video of chapter 9, and you will have it wrapped up after you complete the quiz at the end of the week. Hope this helps.